planets lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come and get your spoiler out the head. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. 在以后，除了是傻子，还有其他吗？我左右，键盘噼啪在时间滴答着，还不够。你的固执让我来守候，哪怕太迟也不想以后。就在这时放肆的打斗。I got the heart of a lion, I know the harder you climb, the harder you fall. I'm at the top of the mountain, too many bodies to count. I've been through it all. I had to weather the storm to get to the level I'm on. That's how the legend was born. All of my enemies already dead. I'm born, I'm ready for war. They know I'm ready for war. I told them we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
내 눈에 비친 창문 눈을 감아 바람이 부는 곳에 날 데려가 Wanna be myself Wanna leave this hell 꺼내줘 제발 Stuck in a place between the space of heart and mind 시간을 쫓아 꿈을 찾아 흘러가 So my Drop, sit on the floor Thinking I'll stop, can't take no more 준비될 때 그게 나 roar Now it's a battle but this is a war I'll show you what I'm made of Rise to the occasion Got fears but I face them Oh, and I'll show you what I'm made of A heart full of fire Looking at a fighter I got a way, it depends on the day that I forget I'm the best that's done it Hard on myself, put my heart on the shelf Cause I forget that myself needs loving 어둠이 가려진 기억 모두 이젠 잊어 Cause I know that I can make it out Those days I drop, sit on the floor Thinking I'll stop, can't take no more 준비될 때 그게 나 roar Now it's a battle but this is a war I'll show you what I'm made of Rise to the occasion Got fears but I face them Oh, and I'll show you what I'm made of A heart full of fire Looking at a fighter 어둠보단 밝음이 더 크잖아 너의 가치를 너가 잘 알잖아 You know the darker the day the more you shine 어둠이 지나 밝은 하루가 babe You don't have to be afraid And I'm not cause today I'll show you what I'm made of Rise to the occasion Got fears but I face and I'll show you A heart full of fire Looking at a fighter I'll show you what I'm made of What I'm made of Yeah I'll show you what I'm made of
too fast, life moving in slow-mo. I'm a god, but I actually don't know. I mean, better put your pride aside. I'm a Benz, get more like a Volvo. Your best stuff looks like my words. Synapses, fire, and burst. Got the whole crew with me, about to do damage. You know we ain't average. I ain't gonna say this again, but it's in my time. Better look in my eyes. I'm a genius in the skies with my heart on my sleeve. You force you a block to a king in his prime. Everybody got a line. Sit back with the stars in line. I finesse like my life on the nine. Was a diamond in the rough, and now I shine.
No one could stop us, they'll try, but they won't. Nada nos puede parar. Oh no, we're wide awake now. Our eyes are wide open. We're running this world. We're keeping it turning. We're living like giants. Yeah, giants. We're bigger than giants. We're giants. Oh, sleeping giants. Sleeping giants. Yeah, shutting it down. Been in the grind, and my people all up in this place. Spinning this thing, go to my rank. Royalty up in my veins. I'm loco, think I'm so cold. I say stunting, ain't no going back. Now they ask where Kiki's at. I'm like, you can't hang with that. 쏟아져 빛이 멀게 된 눈이 멈추지 않아. Once we go, 내게 더운 날로 모든 배워 빨리 달려. 넌 못 따라와. True damage we do it. True damage 보여줄게. 뭐든 쉽게. 이기든 지든 my crew make the beat. No one could stop us. They'll try, but they won't. Nada nos puede parar. Oh no, we're wide awake now. Our eyes are wide open. We're running this world. We're keeping it turning. We're living like giants. Yeah, giants. We're bigger than giants. We're giants. It's not the way we're weak. Oh, we coming right back. This time you're gonna see how we do it like that. We're living like giants. Yeah, giants. We're bigger than giants. We're giants.
All right, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to a late night KDL match. This is going to be our final KDL Week 1 match. It is set between HBC versus GME. I am Crimson, and I am joined here by who? How is it going?
Pretty good. It's been a while. It's been since last season's quarterfinals. I think we've last casted together, so I'm excited to be back.
I want to say semis. I think you
Semis,
did
maybe.
semis.
Maybe the
Yeah, I
semis.
think you went further into, casting than your actual team did for playing. But nonetheless, welcome back. Don't worry, I was a first round exit too, if I remember quite correctly. I'm not quite sure. The memory is kind of hazy when we talk about playoffs.
I forget about it.
Yeah, all I remember is I got a penta in season 2. That's whatever. But that being said, GME versus HBC, an amazing game here. Not so amazing time, but we are going to work with what we have. And what we have so far are two incredibly high pressure bands, Corky and the Nautilus. Nautilus, one of those champions that Bry does play. Bry actually acting as that emergency sub here for GME. He actually is able to play here, as he is technically listed as an LDO sub, but because he has not played any games, that means that he's like a proto free agent type of thing. So essentially you are a free agent until you actually play a game. That's how subs work. But nonetheless, he is going to be used as the emergency sub here for GME, who are having trouble finding their starter support. But what they have found, and I think is the biggest story of the game, is their starting top laner, Jay. He is back from Korea. He landed today straight out of, the gaming cafe, straight on the plane, and now coming back to his regular PC in the States. Jay is going to be playing topside for GME, and I think that's what a lot of people were expecting, the potential and the power that this topside and mid duo in Bidoof and Jay have.
Yeah, I think definitely, it's actually funny. Bry almost had to emergency sub for me in our first game, and now look at him here. So I think the biggest thing, obviously, like you said, Jay is back, and I think everyone would regard him as one of the top players in the tournament. So I think even though they've lost their support, I think Jay more than makes up for that, just on him alone. And honestly, I just fully expect him to probably pick something pretty funny here and take control of the game. This is his first day back. I don't know how much he's been playing, so that's going to be interesting to see.
Well, the rumor around KDL chat, at least to the community, has been that Jay actually hit Masters when he was in Korea playing top lane. So I'm not quite sure if that is correct or not, because obviously before he did go, I think his peak was like D1 100 LP. Not quite in Masters, but just about on that kind of, entry gate to it. And so if he was actually able to break that in Korea, I can only imagine what's going to happen in today's match, as the B1 for HBC is actually that Lee Sin. And Lee Sin, something that we saw last night, I'm not quite sure if you saw it, but Matt absolutely putting on a Smurf
Yeah.
performance and actually did get the MVP for that game as well. So, they're giving him his bread and butter. If it's not Ben, we might as well pick it up.
Yeah, minus that, there was that one Q in the top lane where
Yeah, yeah.
it was, minus that, he played quite well, and I think it's a very strong pick. Obviously the Jinx and the Corki bands coming in, two very strong champions. Corki in the mid lane, Jinx in the bottom lane. They really don't want those champions in the game, which makes sense. We see the Lulu pick coming in first, which is, it can be flex, but most likely going into the support role. Perhaps wanting to get Brybert onto a easy or comfortable champion here. We see the Xin Zhao also being locked in. Another strong jungle pick here for Niar, and it's going to be interesting because they seem like they've drafted around the Lulu, maybe drafted around putting Bry on a comfort pick. So we'll see what wanting to maybe save Jay for last here.
Well, again, Bry is the emergency support, so you might not be able to get that adept synergy that you'd want with Stash and JT obviously smurfing in their last game. JT, absolute monstrous performance, 100 KP on that Jinx. Jinx was banned in that first phase for the side of HBC. But, some notable picks that still could pump out a lot of attack speed, especially when coupled with the Lulu W and the overgrowth in that ult. I really think that they have a lot of potential in having a JT carry, but it might be like a scenario like the Golden Warriors. I'm not quite sure if you watched the game tonight or not, but the Golden Warriors finally got Klay Thompson back, and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry have, reasonably so been called the Splash Brothers. Well, let's just say GME's version of Klay did get injured, or not, sorry, did, become MIA in Korea, and now he is back. And because JT was that second man on the team, I think he's now going to kind of default into the third slot, but that doesn't mean that he's still not, versatile in his own sense. The same way that Andrew Wiggins is still a good player, JT can still pop off as well. And we might actually see it this game, the Vayne into the Aphelios. Such a high prio pick. I really like the Vayne and the Lulu combo. Vayne absolute terror, especially when you have things to, factor in, such as lethal tempo giving you farther range now, extending that range on the stacks. Attack speed being stacked as well, and then you just add in the Lulu, add in the 3-part passive that grants true damage. It's very monstrous, especially in the hands of someone so adept at AD like JT.
Yeah, it was interesting to see JT. He was getting quite good in the top lane. Like, he was holding his own against people that are arguably better than him in that role. And now he switched back to his main role, and he's been performing like absolutely out of his mind. And this is arguably the strongest AD carry in the game. And they've if not Jinx, then it's Vayne. And they were able to grab it along with the Lulu, which is honestly, their team is looking really, really scary so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that the Nivea got banned, and Nivea actually was let through yesterday. Kaze, as well, putting on a real clinic on that Nivea pickup. But with this final ban here for blue, that does leave top and mid available. I think at this point you really want to limit the mid pick, because Bidoof can absolutely carry, and because it is going to be R4, R5, that does leave picks like the First Strike Victor available for the side of HBC, so that might be the reason why it still is available if they do want to go for B4, B5. But wow, this is really surprising that they really want to blind in Aurelion Sol. I was not expecting that. I was really expecting them to go for just a blind top, and then you counter that top, blind mid on the side of HBC, give R5 to Bidoof. But it seems like they absolutely want to go R5 for top here. Nope, just like that. Yeah, the Victor.
Second. Yeah.
Victor might be Orianna here. You could still play Akshan into this as well. Akshan's still available, but you would obviously need, that AP source.
Curious, what do you think about the Soraka pick in this game? Like, obviously Soraka is like, in terms of win rate, one of the best supports in the game right now. Always a solid pick, but
right.
It's interesting to pick it into this team for me, like with the Lee Sin, and now the Kassadin.
Yeah,
getting locked in here. So I'm curious, what do you think about the Soraka into this comp?
Soraka into this comp, I think it's really good, especially since you're mostly using it for the silence. But I see the bot lane, Henry and Jinsoy, mostly using that as a supportive Soraka, meaning that they're going to play back in terms of the lane. Henry's a very aggressive player, and I forgot to mention as well, apologies, Henry actually is making his KDL debut on this team. Yesterday it was actually Tyler playing AD for the side of HBC. But I really like it. But Henry is an aggressive player, and Henry loves playing the Vayne. They take away the Vayne from him, obviously. Ophelia Soraka, there's not a lot of initiation there. I think that it's going to heavily rely on Gravitum. There's not a lot of engage in general, like hard lockdown CC when you look at the scope of HBC. I think that it's going to come down to whether or not Matt can obviously get the picks needed with the Dragon Kick. Arm Rain can make himself, arm pain and come through with the Wukong ult. But for the most part, it should be pretty safe bot. I think if you overextend early, it's over. If you overextend past 6, it's over. It's one of those unfortunate things where it's a do or die, and we're going to have to see how it works out. I don't think Arphos is going to die that easily.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of survivability, especially, Cassidy won't be dying, at least post 6 that easily with his ult. And Wukong has a fair bit of movement, so I think there's a lot of survivability in the scene. But like you said, there's not like any hard sort of lockdown. I really like the side of GME here, to be honest. And the Akali pick is interesting. I was expecting Jay to pull out the Jace because I've seen him. I literally was just spectating him play it. But an interesting pick here. Maybe he's looking to style on the top lane a little bit here. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the side of GME as well, especially because, again, we are seeing that First Strike Victor giving so much gold. First Strike as well, giving you 10% increased damage when you actually do proc it. I like the Kassadin as well. Victor into Kassadin actually has a 49.7% win rate. So, it's a pretty much a skill matchup, more or less. When we get closer to that 50% margin, it's not so much a counter per se, but it's just, individual skill. And in terms of individual skill, if I'm going to be honest, I'd rather, put my money on Bidoof. And I don't think that's like a radical thing to say either. Both of these players have played on the same team before. Kaze has never played mid when Never Lose was still destroying everyone, and that was the age of Bidoof, Code, Kaze, pretty much like the destructive period where they lived up to their name, more or less. But I like Victor. 16 Kassadin isn't laughed at for a reason, but they also do have, hyperscaling in the form of that Vayne, who, if kept alive, I think will absolutely just delete Kassadin. So this game pretty much is on, JT's shoulders, more or less, and Victor's, obviously, once they do pass that, I'd say about maybe 28, 29 minute range.
Yeah,
hey,
for sure.
Krim, what bridge are you going to try and burn today?
Oh, boy.
Oh, Henry's back, so I might as well ask Henry a question. Henry's back. So you said GME, sorry. You said GME takes this?
I think so. I think I really, really like their draft. Obviously, this Kassadin can take control of the game. Right. But like you said, I really expect Bidoof to be more in control in this lane and not really... I don't expect him to die much, right? Although it definitely depends on how much this Lee Sin can help this Kassadin if they want to help him at all, or if they want to just kind of let him wait till he gets strong. But I honestly feel like if you let GME get too far ahead early, this game won't even matter if the Kassadin is able to farm back into it. So, I definitely like the draft of GME and how they've kind of taken all these really strong picks like the Victor, the Xin, definitely the Vayne. It will be interesting to see how comfortable Bry is first time in here. But yeah, I think if they just be careful of this Kassadin pick here and not let him get too far ahead and too strong, that they have this game in the bag.
I just looked up the stats here in terms of Kassadin and Victor. I actually looked at Kassadin's counters, and it does seem like, Wukong and Akali. It does seem like Wukong actually loses 45% of his matches to Victor. So there is, I'm not saying that obviously Bidoof will go top by any means or anything like that, as we are going to be loading into the game right now. But if he does do so, I think that the Akali Kassadin matchup is actually in favor of Akali as well, especially early. Again, I think that's how that would work in terms of Akali Kassadin. But we're going to just have to see whether or not there is a role swap.
Yeah, I've honestly not seen the Wukong Akali matchup. And, there's not too much of a sample size even to based on win rate, because it is like 57% to Wukong, but the sample size must be incredibly small to even draw anything from that. But I'm not exactly sure how that matchup works and who's supposed to win. We see Jay actually, I just noticed, the TP Ignite. So he will be looking to kill the Wukong. We'll see if it ends up working out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Does seem like Nocturne as well has actually, blinded the map here. Seems like a recurring bug. I'm not quite sure what is causing it, but nonetheless, we will be trying our best to re-log into the game. We have systems in place this time around to make sure that we never have to, go through the hell that is constantly having to restream. How's your day been so far?
Not too bad, not too bad. Excited to get my first cast of the season in. It's been a little bit busy for me with school and stuff, so my first time in this season, I'm excited to get started. Our team has played only one game so far, so it's fun watching everyone else play right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it also gives you that ability to see what's working in terms of comps, what's not, right? Matchups wise as well. And so, for you to say like you've never seen the Wukong Akali or as frequent as you'd want to, maybe this might be the match that you can use to convince Sungsta to go, hey, you know what? Go Wukong, go Akali. Let's see how it goes. Faithful. I saw this one game, man. You should go Victor into Kassadin or vice versa. But nonetheless, both teams setting up an initial 5-point. None of these teams are new to any, 5-man charades or anything like that. I think that a lot of people, interestingly enough, as well, have kind of touted both of these teams as potential heavy hitters in playoffs. And, it was talked about on the BlastCon, which you can listen to every single week on Spotify. That is KDL BlastCon on Spotify. But nonetheless, there was discussion about GME and HBC, and pretty much both of those teams were, regarded in the same ballpark, in that midsection. And looking at some of the games throughout, like, this first week, maybe the tier lists were too harsh, maybe they weren't. We might need to see, the power of both of these teams, especially when they go up against each other, and see if there's a clear winner in a BO1 atmosphere, at least. Again, Bry is subbing in for GME, so that might be kind of skewed towards HBC since they do have their full roster. But nonetheless, we're going to just have to wait and see the potential that both of these teams have. They're both good, and some of these players right now are KDL champions for a reason.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Like, I honestly thought, coming into the season, I put GME as my #1 team, minus us, of course. But I put GME as I thought they were the best team in the tournament. I think I had HBC 3, so I think both these teams are really, really good. I think these are the only 2 undefeated teams left, if I'm correct.
Yeah, they both are 1-0. Yep.
Okay, so so I think really we're seeing maybe one of like the top matchups in this tournament right here. So this is going to be quite interesting to see as we see a really good trade for Bidoof coming down. The Kassadin pushing a little bit way too far early on.
Oh, right, doing what he can just to apply that E on top of Soraka. I said that they were going to play passive. It doesn't seem like they were listening to the stream, and Henry actually just going fully forward with no regard, despite the Vayne and the Lulu, being such a terrific and, very scary combo to deal with. Right now, Henry is sizing up the opponent bot lane at least and holding a decent freeze here in the mid lane, or in the middle of his lane, rather.
Yeah, this is a very, very, like...
Well, just keep your eyes peeled on that Xin Zhao, though. Xin Zhao actually might just be entering here in a bit. Naya not on that Ivern. Oh, he's going around. I don't think he's actually in vision here. This will work out. Henry and Jinsoi are hyperextended here. Oh, slow doesn't come out. Gravitum is the weapon of choice for this Aphelios. Insta flash coming out from Jinsoi. Oh, they actually do take that. The WE initially going forward. Oh my god, Henry, the flash forward. He had the Infernum. Is not able to get it on top of JT. That was his one target. But look at everyone burn. Oh, Naya's actually cutting so wide here. Naya's going to go down here in a second. One more hit will do it. Gravitum does connect on top of Naya. It will claim his life. 1 Q will establish JT is dead. E, the Pixie Shield, will keep JT alive for now. But how long will it take until HBC wants to dive? HBC's bot lane is regarded as one of the best, if not the best bot lane in all of the KDL for a reason, and it doesn't seem like they want to let off the hurt anytime soon.
You just took the words right out. I just was about to say there's a reason why this is, I think, easily the best bot lane in this tournament. They turned that around so it looked effortless. Like, it was obviously incredibly hard to do, but it looks so easy for them to do that. And realistically, they shouldn't have been able to. Could also be a little bit of, Brybert being kind of new in this team, a little bit of miscommunication. But, JT's a little bit of trading going on up here. But as I was saying, JT's no slouch. He's a really good AD carry, and they were able to turn that against him, which is really crazy to me. So
JT's a
really
really
good start.
good AD, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, unfortunately, have been underestimating JT. JT's a really good player. You know,
100%. I agree.
on
Yeah.
TSM Solo Midzi, he was one of the standoff players, and I don't think that he gets enough credit where credit is due. Neither, and I don't know if this is a hot take or not, neither does Naya. Naya, for whatever reason, is always dismissed as, oh, he's only an Ivern player, or, you know, this, that. I actually really like Naya's playstyle. I think he's super aggressive. He knows how to play, you know, specific champions correctly to fit his team's atmosphere. You know, obviously he's on Xin, who is kind of touted as like that Dark King carry. I think that in terms of like the Dark Tech, we might just see it this game in the form of that Xin Zhao carry, especially with the recent Stride Breaker, you know, build that's been going around. But I think bot lane actually has put themselves into a little bit of a predicament here. Henry doing his best just to kind of even out that wave. Noon Quiver is his first spy. First spy for JT is going to be that Vampiric Scepter. Both ADs not starting Dorns, unlike both other games where they actually did buy the Dorns and just one health bot. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what's sorry, go ahead, who?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was gonna say there's already a really, as you know, I kind of like we talked about earlier. There's a big CS gap in the top lane. I just noticed it's 43 to CS to 19. Jay has been kind of, we haven't seen too much action as the too much in the top lane, but he's been bullying him and pushing him under tower and not letting him farm. And you know, I didn't really know how this matchup goes, and maybe this is just a skill thing. But you know, so far he looks like he's just absolutely been a one-way matchup so far.
This is a really nice wave here for Kaze, by the way. Like, he can fully freeze this towards his mid tower. Beautiful is going to be forced to TP, I believe, into the mid lane. Again, there is no penalty for TPing, especially since Unleash TP actually does, you know, fully unlock 14 minutes past. Shuriken will actually land right on top of Lee Sin. No potential for him that gank today. Spire's Bloom will be used towards the bot side. Naya going to be clearing out that single ward there, just blocking out his entrance towards the Dragon Pit. Oh, red buff here. Nice little invade from Matt, actually. He will be going straight away for the red buff. They queue the red buff. They initially bring it and pull it into this brush here. And look at that. Bidoof doesn't even know where he went. There are no missing pings at all. Kaze's actually just waiting. Oh, they're actually going to dive Jay. They're actually just going to go for Jay here.
This is really interesting. Yeah, this is really interesting. I didn't think they were. I thought they were just going to take the buff.
Yeah, they're on the way.
Looks like they're going in here.
Yeah, and that is going to be the Wukong ult to initially knock everyone up. Akali's R1 is going to be used. No R2 re-engage. Ignite was used as well on top of the real Wukong. It looked like there was a Dragon's Kick, which is Lee Sin's kick. But there was none. But we still heard the audio clip for whatever reason.
Yeah, it looks like it might have probably got canceled because it was
he's
used
level
last
5.
sec. Oh, he's level. That's.
I heard a kick for sure. I'm not quite sure.
Interesting. But yeah, that was a really good play. It didn't look like they were going to go top for a second. They walked up and they walked back. I thought they were just going to take the red buff and go, but I guess Jay was so far extended that, you know, there was no real way for him to get out of that situation. And he obviously was not warded at all in Tribush. They had no idea that they were invading the red, and it turned out to be just a great kind of macro play there from the side of Honey Butter Chip.
Yeah, for sure. I strongly don't think that Henry actually heard about the KDL script at all, because it does seem like, you know, he's putting the hurt onto the bot lane here. Shuriken E gonna be able to land right on top of Arm Rain. Arm Rain now unfortunate position where he is losing about 40% HP. Casting going forward there with the phase shift. Or is that phase shift or void shift? I'm pretty sure it's void shift.
Void shift, I believe, yeah. But I think
those.
I'm worse with you at names, so
I am
I'm not one to
notorious
say.
for names. I am notorious for names. I'll tell you a story, a personal story. Actually, that might actually have to pause here. Both
he's
mid
gonna live
laners
with 1
forced to
HP.
flash, yeah. Bidoof actually just living with the hair of his chin there.
Oh, that is so unlucky for Kaze here. He almost had the solo kill and got out, but that was just 1 minion autos. It was
And
so
meanwhile,
close.
Matt actually collected the Inferno as well, so the next time come around that fight, Bidoof is dead because of that 5% added, you know, attack damage and AP. E-Shuriken gonna be able to land right on top of Arm. No ult from Akali gonna go forward there underneath the tower. It's Rift Walk, actually.
Okay, but it's just not enough damage so far, obviously, for the Akali. We opted to go for pause coming in.
Yep, and
But
we got
opted to go
pause.
from Bomby Cinder first, so doesn't have too much damage right now. Although she is up uh, a lot of CS, so I think that's on the only reason the gold is not more far apart than it is because of that.
Yeah, it seemed like actually Bry's Discord actually crashed, which caused them some issues here. But they are getting it back. Yeah, this might just last for 2 minutes. I'm not quite sure what that constant humming sound is. I think actually it's Lulu sweeping a bush. Oh,
Yeah,
that
it
is...
may have just gotten stuck on the spectator bug.
Yeah, it's just the Lulu sound actually going off. Let's take this time to look at chat here. Why would an Akali build that? That is an interesting question. My only answer would be Korean build. Jokes aside though, I think it's mostly because Akali is going to be doing a lot of damage just passively through leveling up to 18 if need be, obviously. And then, you know, your base damage on top of the Conqueror giving you that additional AP and AD. I don't think it's too bad here. Jay probably doesn't want to be put onto a super squishy Akali build either, because Lee Sin, as he does scale up, he will get tankier. You know, the Gore Drinker's going to come out. Sunderer is going to come out here for Wukong. Actually, it looks like Triforce is going to come out here for Wukong instead. But nonetheless, I think it's pretty fine here for Jay to be going the Sunfire. He has a lot of pressure towards topside as well. Oh. Oh, it seems like...
Interesting.
Yeah, not sure what's happening here. Let's see if it happens. No? Oh, it does. Oh, that is so weird. Alright, so we just had to relog the game. Oh, and it's back just like that, I guess. There we go. Man, League of Legends, by the way. I love playing this game.
Yep.
Thank God they changed the ranked armor.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm so glad that they changed the ranked armor to make it ambiguous.
That was must needed. The
Must
condemn
needed.
actually going to be used there on Henry, but just look at that. Immediately brought back to full HP from about 70% or so. Jinsori now finishing his support item here at 10 minutes even. Yeah, I think if you are GME, it's very hard for Xin Zhao to actually gank you through the bot lane. The only potential that you have is actually a lane gank. And the way that JT and Bri are playing doesn't really give you that opportunity. I think that if you are going to win the game as GME, again, you're going to be looking for mid and top scaling. And that actually looks really in your favor right now. Unfortunately, though, what does not look in your favor is the bot lane, you know, the AD and the Lee Sin. Oh, nice little dragon kick there. Not able to fully throw him underneath the tower as he had hoped. R1 from Akali going to be traded as a result, though. And what I was saying is that AD is getting, you know, somewhat of a goal lead brought onto him. And then even in the jungle right now, it's about to be a 20 CS lead as well.
Yeah, I
only
actually just
600
noticed
gold,
that as a pretty sizable lead.
Yep.
The Zin's just been trying to make some stuff happen across the map, and it just hasn't really worked out. Obviously, we touched on in the pregame, this is a very safe team on the side of HBC. They have, you know, champions that can pretty easily get out of trouble in the Kassadin and the Wukong, and just like infinite heals in the bot lane. So it is quite difficult for Zin to make things happen. But like you said, they're, you know, GME, like, time is on their side. They scale very well, mid, top, and bot. So, you know, the longer this game goes, I guess kind of the better for them.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's a lot of potential right now for, you know, either of these teams here just to kind of crack open the game. As of right now, it doesn't necessarily seem like one of these teams is better than the other, because sure, you know, you have an incredible bot lane, but look at the mid CS now growing. Jungle is in favor of HBC, top is in favor of GME. It's just one of those awkward things here. Void now, or sorry, Herald rather, is going to be spawned here within the bot side, trying to relieve some of that pressure and give them a little bit of gold, if any. That is going to be 2 plates guaranteed though, and it will go down 320 gold. A huge chunk of change, actually, just going directly into the pocket of Xin. I suppose, you know, Vayne wasn't even close enough.
Yeah, never hit the tower.
Yeah,
wasn't
never
close
hit the
enough.
tower to actually get that CS either. Actually, wow, Xin Zhao fully just committing there. Overgrowth now being used as well. Dragon kick right into the backside. That is going to be a nice little Iron Spike proc there to control and keep that double going. Ooh, Sonic Strike. Or, sorry, Resonating Strike, rather. Not going to be able to connect on top of the Vayne. They could look to dive this if need be. I don't think that they will. Oh, actually, they actually might here. Graviton is
JT
being
must
used
just
on the
die.
Vayne. JT
The
could
Cam
just
switching
die
to
here.
top lane. Out
Yeah,
of nowhere.
the Cam really likes Jay here. It's a Sunfire Akali tech.
Yeah, it's honestly quite strange. I haven't never heard about this dark
R1
tech
being
here.
used
He
there.
might actually
R2
kill
as
her.
well. Ignite is ticking, it's ticking. And he actually lives right there with 1 HP, but the Shuriken lands. Oh my god, the Soraka ultimate saves him. And unfortunately, there's not enough HP left in Jay's back pocket to keep him alive either. Wow, what an amazing last second heal there from Jinsoy. Guarantees a 1-for-1 for the most part. Okaze is dangerously low here, actually. Voidstorm could come out from Bidoof if he's close by. Bidoof doesn't have flash, so there is no flash. Oh, wow, Kaze actually just...
Oh, that was a little bit in. Oh,
Oh, the Voidstorm did... Or, sorry, the... Whatever, his ultimate was used there. Oh,
that was
that's-
interesting. That was quite interesting. I thought they would get the kill because the Xin was coming mid and at least force him out.
I thought they
but
were
he
gonna force
decides.
him.
Yeah, and he decides to
Chaos
take the
Storm.
easy way out. And another pause coming in here.
Yeah, it seems like Kaze actually has an internet problem, or at least that's what HBC is saying. So he actually will be restarting his router. Should be up within the next couple seconds, but I'm not quite sure what we just saw.
Yeah, that was some internet issue there, but it was a bit strange to go in onto the Victor, even if you're under your tower when you're 1 HP and he has ult, but cost him his life there.
I'm not gonna act like I haven't greeted for, greeted for CS before like that.
Yeah, I respect the dedication. Right before the pause, obviously you had 3 members of GME and mid, and we did see the kill top, and obviously like you always forget about the Soraka whenever you're kind of playing, especially when you're playing top. You forget that there's a Soraka on the other side of the map that can press R and heal.
Right.
And Jay landed a crazy E right after the minion died, and he almost had that. He had that kill in the bag, and he would have gotten
Right.
away if it wasn't for the heal. But
Now,
it turns out.
I'm not sure if you see what I see for Akali. Have you ever seen that? I've never seen that in my life.
That's what I was thinking, right? Because he ended up going the magic mantle.
I don't want to
and
spoil
he had the
what it
Bombing
is.
Cincture.
I don't want to spoil what it is, obviously, for the viewers, because when we come out at the pause, you'll be able to see exactly what is within his inventory, pretty much. He just came back from base. But I have never seen that in my entire life for an Akali top. And I am checking right now, and I cannot see anyone who has played it like that. So this might be...
No, yeah.
this
Yeah,
might
when you
be
mentioned
first.
dark tech, I know Jay is really into his dark tech, so like a couple minutes ago, I went in through op.gg, u.gg, I checked Korea, I checked builds,
I'm
high
checking right
elo,
now.
I checked
it's-
everything. I couldn't see a single person
Yeah, it's Proto
build
Belt.
anything like that.
Yep, it's Proto Belt and Riftmaker.
Yeah,
For,
I even saw
for Akali. And I'm looking at hundreds of matches. I'm scrolling down all the way. I do not see one Sunfire gear. And I'm not BMing or anything like that. I'm trying to more so to say that this is a J original. So whether or not, this is pulled off, and we'll see the damage numbers at the end, and we'll obviously ask him what is the reasoning for this, because this is a huge, point of this game. But
It'd
I'm
be
interested to
crucial
see.
because I've even seen a Divine Sunderer Akali before. Like I've seen people go Divine
have, yeah,
Sunderer
yeah.
into Demonic Embrace,
Yeah.
into Sonya's. Jay is probably the first person in the country to build this.
He just came back and he's already establishing a new meta. I just want to throw out as well, there was that AED Akali build that was somewhat prevalent for a little bit. I believe that was early season 10, late season 9. So it still was available with the new items and such. But I don't know. This is definitely something.
I'm not quite sure.
I think they just need a front line, and that's exactly why.
Yeah, they needed a tank, and I guess Jay wanted to not play a tank, but be a tank at the same time, and I feel like this doesn't work. I'm gonna be honest. I don't. I will. I'm very willing to eat my words and say that this is something that's interesting, but I feel like this doesn't work. But maybe he'll prove us wrong. I will say earlier I didn't get to mention in the bot lane it was quite interesting that the Xin decided to engage onto the Soraka, Aphelios, and Lee Sin. They saw all three of them there, especially since they were so behind in gold, or not necessarily gold, but they were so behind in items because at that point in time the Aphelios had Vampiric Scepter and his Noon Quiver, and Vayne just had uh, her boots. I believe I'm not sure if she had the Vampiric Scepter, and that's a pretty big item gap to start fighting in. And there was obviously the CS lead between the jungle, so it was quite interesting that they decided to go in there. I felt like you don't need to as a Vayne, you just kind of want to scale up, but ultimately that choice lost them that fight.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see here, as again, we are still waiting on Kaze to reconnect here. Again, I believe he is actually restarting his router, but it seems like JT actually has joined him as well in restarting his, so might be just looking at maybe a 1 or 2 minute delay from this point on and this point forward. But nonetheless, interesting game all around the board. Let's take the heat off of Jay for a little bit, because I know we've been kind of going back and forth on what exactly we're seeing in terms of his build. Are you surprised that Matt, so far into the game, has had such a commanding impact on this Lee Sin? And do you think it would have been better if GME had banned that out?
I'm trying to remember what they banned out in terms of junglers, if they did at all. I know the Malphite was banned. I'm trying to think what else was banned. But it's interesting they left the Lee Sin up. We've already seen kind of what Lee Sin can do, in previous games, and I do think that it's not necessarily a bad thing they left it up, because they also picked a strong jungler on the side of Xin Zhao, and they expected Xin to maybe challenge the Lee Sin, but that's obviously not been the case. We've seen a pretty big CS lead, and obviously the 2 kills as well. And I think Lee's just had better rotations in general. He's been able to. I think one of the smartest plays was when that Rift Herald was dropped bot side by the Xin. That Lee was already there, knowing that was going to happen, and he matched that, and they were able to get a kill out of it. So I think the biggest part is maybe not necessarily the pick, but the macro play here has been really, really good from the Lee Sin to take control. And obviously another one was the red buff. They took the red buff, they went top, and they managed to kill Jay.
No, don't worry, I didn't die. I was paying attention. I'm thinking right now, if LDO or LOR are in that scenario, like what happens for either of our teams here if we allowed Matt's Lee Sin, and thinking about versus GME, I hope that we ban that out.
Yeah, I would hope when we come around to playing Honey Butter Chip, I think we actually play them this week, that we definitely ban the Lee Sin out or know how to play against it. But ooh, it's interesting. Looks like JT is not here. Sorry about the extended pause. It seems like we're having tech issues on both sides.
Yeah, GME doesn't even know where JT went.
Shoot. All right, I guess it's time to sub me in.
Might be. Apparently, and this is just, I'm quoting what they said. Please report JT. He got kidnapped. And Binu said, I run these streets. Jay responded with, Drake came around and said, I'll give you $100,000 if you come out. And JT went out. And then Bry said, Henry, how are you feeling, bud? And then Henry said, awesome, with all caps, because obviously Henry is playing late night here. But even GME doesn't even know where he is.
Yeah, that's strange.
And he's the team captain. I just want to throw that out there.
Did he say he was going to restart?
Oh, okay.
There he is back.
He just reconnected.
We are back.
There we go.
I was gonna say, I wonder if JT had said anything before he left, or if he just.
Well, I'm
vanished.
pretty sure he told Wilma.
Oh yeah.
I think he told Wilma.
Okay, I think that makes sense. He probably told Wilma about what he was gonna do, but then he didn't tell the rest of us.
I don't know. He told Wilma and Suna. There we go. We are back in the game.
Now we're back
You
in
don't
the
even
game.
want to bite. I'm casting the line there. You're not even biting.
I'm sorry. I don't take the bait.
Oh. Oh, great.
We'll be
From one issue to another.
we'll be back. We'll be back. I think it
Yeah.
fixed itself last time.
It did fix itself last time, yeah. It's just one of those weird things, I suppose.
Oh wait, never mind.
There we go. Oh.
And Kaze has left the game again. Okay,
yeah.
maybe that's probably old. These are probably old messages kind of popping up here. All right, I think we should be good.
There we go. Game immediately resumes here with Matt taking a red buff. Potentially looking for second dragon of the game.
We are doing our best LCS cosplay here with all these tech issues and pauses.
Yep. LCS, Worlds, you name it, we are there. We are currently playing,
yes.
actually, at the Smoothie Arena in Sacramento.
Interesting fight here. The Lee Sin W's up, but he will be going back in to try to steal
You
this.
there. Matt actually is able to get that smite down and is able to steal it. Oh, actually he's still alive there. Forces out the flash. Look at JT. Pops the ultimate. Overgrowth is used on him as well. Has flashed up to safety. Kaze looking for a re-engage with the with the Rift Walk. That is going to be shut down. Given over to Jay. Gives himself his second kill at the game here. Q from this Aphelios. Not able to land on top of JT either. They get the dragon. They get their second dragon at that. They trade it over at the cost of Matt's life. Jay ultimately does get that kill here. TP immediately from Kaze into the mid lane here. Just trying to salvage, trying to keep his tower alive, but it might just be too late, too far there. Everfrost now being used as well. W from this Victor, not able to quite put the hurt on top of this Kassadin. And he does live to see another day. But look at Henry. Henry just has, you know, the chalk room available. He's just spamming those auto attacks on it. And look at him go there. He spams the Q with his lifesteal. And he's just able just to hit that tower to his heart's content. Jinsoi making his way downtown now. Faces past and he's Henry bound.
Yeah, obviously the red and white guns being the best combo for Aphelios for team fights and for kind of skirmishes, and being someone that can kind of know
JT's
when
gonna
to
die
have to
here.
vote those up. He's smartly he kind of walks away a little early, but didn't look like either of them wanted to fight there. But as I was saying, yeah, it's very, if you're able to keep up your red and white guns, you can really just win the game on Aphelios by yourself. And obviously being one of probably the best AD in the tournament, it does look like he kind of has a grasp on that. We might get a dive here in the mid lane. Kaze is quite low.
Yeah, I think... Oh, wow. Riftwalk actually forward. That's a very confident Riftwalk. He actually just gets stun locked there from the Victor W as well. Henry immediately getting condemned backwards. Vayne now popping her ult as well. That's
the cam
not to
switching
go
back and forth
offensively or anything like that. Yeah, the camera is having a real tough time, you know, choosing which play is actually the more exciting play there. Armrain able to sidestep a little bit off the Ninja Star there. I forget what that's called. The Kunai. There you go.
Yeah, JT actually ended up living there and didn't use any sums, which is nice. He just used his ult. Almost dying there again, gets kicked away. But I think we mentioned obviously in the pause, but we haven't got a chance to talk about it yet. Jay opted for the Chemtech.
Right.
And which is a little bit interesting. Noticed in the Dragon fight, he went in on the Lee Sin, he got the kill, but he was kind of doing, no damage to him. But kind of interested to see what he's going to build next year. We saw him just get the kill in mid. They fell back, I think, in the mid game in the early game on map movement and macro play, but GME have kind of started to pick it up and started moving their members around the map. We see Bry was just top, and they're moving their AD mid now, and I think they're starting to pick up the pace now after a little bit of a slow early game, and they have a small gold lead, but largely it's through CS, but nevertheless it's still a lead.
Yeah, for sure. I really like the first strike here for the Victor, obviously going and opting in for the crown. Next item is looking like it's going to be a Shadow Flame only because of that very large rod there that he does have in his inventory. Don't pause that. And then eventually going to be... I had to say that really quick so no one clips that. But eventually going to be building into the Shadow Flame. There's a lot of shielding, especially later when you think about the Sterix coming in for the Wukong, the safeguard that the Lee Sin does provide with his own W, the Shield Bow on top of this Aphelios. There's a lot of shielding that is available for the side of HBC that, Victor needs to just cut through and needs to immediately put the hurt on. Kunai is going to be able to land there. Akali with the R1 underneath the tower. Wukong will respond with his own ult, but it will be that R2 out to safety. Bri just blowing kisses towards Matt, as it seems. Surprised there was no Q there.
Yeah, just a little bit of friendly at being annoying Lulu. You see both ADs have obviously switched into the mid lane, and quite decent ward coverage here for the side of GME, preparing for this next dragon, which will obviously this is one of the strongest souls in the game, and it's very difficult to play around when you're behind, obviously not having vision of your own jungle. They have added the plants, on the side and the top and on the bottom side, which help a little bit, but this is one of those dragons where you can snowball the league quite a bit, and obviously GME will want to make sure that HBC is not able to continue to stack them. They got a little bit, I think HBC got lucky last time with the Lee Sin going in there to steal it, because they were looking like they were going to lose the fight. So it's going to be interesting to see if they decide to contest this next one, or if they maybe are content with giving this one up.
I think they are gonna actually give this up. It does seem like, the TP icons are kind of bugged here, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to tell you whether or not TPs are available, but my general hunch is that I think, especially with Kaze being here and already establishing control, Wukong is surely going to be able to get a nice little TP position. Wukong having his own ultimate available in the next 10 seconds or so. I think that this is going to go in favor of HBC. They were able to steal away that second dragon, now looking at a potential Chemtech dragon for this Soul Point. Chaos Storm still available for this Victor as well. Oh, Everfrost now used. Xin Zhao trying his best to enter. Naya not able to enter quickly enough, but look at the health bars in the backside. Jinsoi pops his own ult. R1 over the wall. Look at Jay still alive there. Double kill over to Jay. GME is healthy. Oh no, Kaze, you hate to see it. Flashes right into the wall. Gets 2 ahead of himself. Connecting with the Rift walks himself back to base here. They trade off this dragon. HBC is able to secure Soul Point here, but what they are not able to secure is a nice healthy way over to the Baron, and Baron is exactly what GME will put their sights on.
I don't even know what to say. Wow. Like, Jay ended up doing so much damage, and he's so tanky. Obviously he has the 1 item lead over here on the Wukong, and I felt like GME could have gone into, they gave up position, wanted to re-engage. I think they could have gone in earlier and taken the dragon as well, but they still ended up cleaning the fight. It wasn't even close. Obviously Victor was able to stay completely safe there and do damage, but Jay was in the back line, just no one could touch him. It was absolutely
we made fun
crazy.
of it, right? We made fun of it for him proccing the Chemtech, and then we're saying, how is he exactly going to use that? How is that going to be optimized correctly? Well, he just showed us. He essentially just dives that back line at least. He's able just to initiate with his R1, is able to stack so much damage, has, the passive Conqueror giving him the full stacks of that 12 and giving him added damage as well. He has Demonic. Needless to say, even though Soraka is there's not a lot you can do, especially when Lulu is providing and applying Purifier as her first item in this game, which is such a smart optimization because, with this, Moonstone is nullified. The W for Soraka is not greatly giving you that, added extra HP that you'd hope. And as a result, Aphelios pretty much just explodes. And that is the one member of this team, if you are HBC, you need alive more than anything.
Yeah, interesting to see what maybe the next item here is for the Akali, probably.
Oh, wow. She actually just takes that kunai going in. There. Yeah,
so much confidence with the amount of HP and just the tankiness in general, and just the lead that just to go in on any E, like she could be going in at any time, and obviously it's probably pretty scary for HBC. It's going to be hard for this team to kind of turn it around. This is, the side of GME is a team that's stronger in the late game, and they've had a kind of massive lead now. So it's going to be quite hard for them to turn it around, especially considering the dragon. We can already see GME's kind of pushing the vision, and HBC is going to be pretty. It's going to be almost impossible to kind of walk into your own jungle blind.
Beautiful insect there. They are able to snuff out the Akali R1 there. R2 now being used as well. Unfortunately for them, they use so much. Matt now does not have flash and does not have a dragon kick available for this potential mid-skirmish. W tag from the Xin Zhao would allow himself to enter for the Soraka pick, but they ultimately just get tier 2, and that's about all they want as of right now.
Yeah, we do have the dragon coming up in another 2 minutes. I might be like, the going for the soul might be one of the saving graces for the side of HBC, but I'm not even sure if this is like necessarily a team that is like really really strong with this soul. I know some teams are like a lot stronger than others, but I'm not sure if this team can take really as full advantage of the Chemtech soul as maybe others could anyway.
Right, I 100% agree. I mean, what good is it if the Soraka gets revived more or less? She's just essentially giving you her already draining HP in the form of that, the pseudo GA, I like to call it. Aphelios for sure is going to be pumping out the damage, and I think that goes across the board for everyone else as well. Obviously, things get really tricky if you are HBC, because although you do have, free GA, they're still deleting you incredibly fast on that first death, right? The first potential that you have to survive there for the Aphelios is instantly being nullified if that means that a tank Akali is essentially just crip walking into him and is able just to one-shot him more or less no matter what item he has. And as a result of that Akali and realizing the potential it has just to delete him, and he's not able to kind of get that damage output back onto her, he actually has one LDR as well. Second item. Now third item, potential Runins. Typically you do go that Runin second right after a Shilbo or a Kraken. But we're just going to have to see whether or not he's able to get, the Zeal in on time for this next drag. And that is going to be within 20 seconds. And so far there is no back. And it's going to be really tricky here for HBC if they really want to initiate right now, because GME are hungry. They are sharks in the water. And obviously they smell the blood that is HBC.
Yeah, I wonder if Lee maybe just kind of gives himself up here to go in. We see, like, obviously GME's already using the vision to try to make a pick.
Are they just going to go for
like we might start a fight here?
Yeah, Kunai does land there. Unfortunate timing for him. Everfrost was available there. Riftwalk right over to the wall. R1 for Akali, R2 as well. It does seem like Kassadin will die there. Riftwalk did go off, but he unfortunately just dies in place. So this is a 5v4 if HBC choose to fight this. What you said might actually just come true here.
He is trying.
It does seem like Lee is trying his best to enter here. He absolutely has tried to enter. He ward hops way too late there, and it will be just another kill going over to Jay. Unfortunate timing. I'm not quite sure what the reason, the reasoning there was. He wanted that lucky smite, not able to get it. No flash to propel himself forward either. But with that, 3 members alive on the side of HBC. Might actually be 2 here if the Xin Zhao tag does land, and it will not. Shinzo is able to dodge it, for the time being.
Yeah, that might have been HBC's last hope, trying to steal that dragon, and obviously with Jay being able to 1v1 the Kassadin, yeah, that kind of put a stop to that. And I was about to say right before he did 1v1 him that Kassadin did finish the Seraphs, which was, definitely quite good for him, but obviously it didn't look like it made really a difference. Jay has 3 items completed to the 2 in the mid lane, and the only 1 item completed in the top lane. So quite a big difference here. We see the potential last fight of the game breaking out here.
Yeah, immediate ult there from the Xin Zhao to deter the Wukong going forward with the Cyclone. And it just seems like GME really wants to take all their prized earnings and back. Each member holding about 1,000 gold, except for Bry, who is unfortunately just holding 800. GME realizes actually that Vayne is away here. Everyone is spotted. Spire Splume spotting them out. They just need 1 pickup here. And it won't seem like they will get that opportunity.
Yeah, just trying to make anything happen here, walking into kind of the shrouded area in the bot side to try to, maybe catch someone that's off the recall timing, but it looks like GME just wants to reset. They can probably take this Baron just kind of whenever they want to and then push down mid to end the game. What do you think that HBC can really do here? It's tough to say if they have a chance. We were saying earlier that this Kassadin was kind of the key. They want the Kassadin to scale and help this team kind of carry this team, but he is so far behind that he's not going to be able to do anything.
I think if you are HBC at this point, you need to sacrifice Lee for all these neutral monsters on the map, Baron, dragons, things like that. You're 1 dragon away from Chemtech. That would obviously give you a huge up, because although they're deleting you instantly fast, at least you have a second chance to survive, and at least you're able to live to see another day more or less here. Look at just the raw damage going out to Baron here. Jimmy not even hesitating. HBC is going to be late to the party, and there is no party like a Baron party. Matt able just to ward hop right over. Oh, preemptive JT Vayne ult. I don't think HBC actually saw it go off there, so they might still think that Vayne does have the ultimate. Baron empowered minions for the second time in this game going over to the side of GME. They are now marching towards this dragon. They realize that the only hope, the only objective bounty that, HBC can get is pretty much this dragon. They really need this next dragon to fulfill that sole, requirement, at least, to get back into the game here. It doesn't seem like you're able to push any lanes unless you kill someone. I don't think you can send arm rain towards like a split or anything like that, since again, this is kind of like the complexity behind HBC's comp. They don't have any true initiation, right?
Yeah,
and that's not
definitely.
to say that GME has initiation either. They don't, but they have more slows. They have more availability to enter. It's Wukong, Lee Sin, and Graviton. Let's be honest here. And then a potential Kassadin with Everfrost here and there, right? But other than that, they have no one guy to say, you know what, I'm going in, I'm going to stun lock Vayne, I'm going to stun lock, let's say Victor in this sense. It's looking really dire, but they got to do what they got to do. And I think if you are HBC, you're kissing Matt on the head and saying, go get that dragon. And, you're kind of expecting him to die for it, or die trying at least.
Yeah, the trickier thing comes is like a lot of the champions on the side of GME are pretty strong at kind of kiting for themselves. The Akali kind of just does her own thing. The Vayne is able to have quite a bit of mobility with ult, with her Q.
Oh wow, they get two there. That actually might exactly be what they needed there. Vayne now popping her ult as well. Rift Walk immediately into the backside as well. Flash coming out for Kaze and Arm Rain there. Henry might just go down here. Is tagged on that E2 as well. R2 now into the backside. Look at the HBC health bars. Bidoof now flashing forward with his Q. They are forcing everyone underneath this tower. Will they actually just dive out for this final kill? And just like that, you blink and you miss it. HBC have been shattered into ruins, and like that, the blue team has FF'd immediately, sensing their pending doom. Wow, what an incredible finish. What on earth did we just see in the span of about 15 seconds?
It was crazy. I thought at first GME were gonna looks like they were playing it a little bit more methodical, respecting the side of HBC. But they just pretty much pushed the top, pushed the mid to apply pressure. They went bot and they straight up, HBC had a good kind of initiation there for a second. Like maybe if they weren't so far behind, it could have something happened. But they were just so far behind that there's no way that they can even kill this Akali, much less anyone else.
Wow, I mean, when we're talking about the general scope of the game, but we said we both predicted GME would take this. Did we think it was going to be that aggressive of, a take more or less? Were we expecting that type of finish?
I honestly didn't expect the game to go this way exactly. I did, obviously think GME was going to win, but HBC surprised me at the start of the game. They were making a lot of good plays, but then it felt like, I'm not sure when, maybe like right after the tech pause, when
I think it was after
everyone
the
came
pauses,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, it was right after the pause. It felt like the game just like flipped just like that, like so quickly. I'm not sure what they were talking about in that tech pause, but it must have been something good, because it looks like as soon as it ended, they flipped a switch and they were just on go mode. And ever since then, I don't think HBC was able to get into the game at all.
Right, and with that, without any further ado, apologies, we will now be getting into our interviews with HBC. Oh, what an incredible game overall, though. All right, we are talking with HBC. HBC, you guys had such an incredible win yesterday in the day as well. GME taking their first win today. Both of your teams entered here, lossless. Unfortunately, you did take the loss. Do you feel like GME is one of those top teams and this doesn't quite sting as much as it should compared to other teams that you potentially could lose against?
Yeah, sorry, could we have a moment, please? Because before every interview, we gotta go, honey butter, honey butter!
Chip.
Okay. Yeah, they did do that yesterday. I forgot. I forgot they did
I
that
respect
yesterday.
I respect the fact that you do it win or lose.
Yeah, always.
Thank you. Sorry, what was the question again?
I said that seeing how GME is one of the better teams, in the KDL towards the top side of the brackets, towards the top side of the standings. Does this loss kind of, at least hurt or anything like that, or are you not really fazed by it because it is GME and because they are such a tough team to beat?
I don't think we're really upset overall. We had a good early game. I just think we need to brush up on a few team play things that are a bit laning, and it should be a better outcome for next game. Every game is an opportunity to learn, so
So
it's fine.
I want to ask you this before I ask Jay. Obviously, I think the number one thing this game was the Sunfire Akali, more or less the tank Akali. Is this something that you guys were expecting? I can't imagine it was. Is this something that you guys were expecting him to build into, at least when you saw the Akali? Or were you just kind of thrown off? Like, when did you guys fully realize he was going tank, essentially?
When you had a Sunfire crystal
Or
thing.
Cinderfire, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense. Makes
We
sense.
realized pretty early, but I don't think we realized it'd be that threatening.
Yeah, we saw it, we're like, oh shit, Philo, and then it wasn't Philo. Mm.
Well,
Yeah, it kind of fucked me in the ass. So,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
God damn it, Jay.
I think the plan was since it wasn't a tank Akali, we can just play front to back. The Akali can't really one-shot Henry if it is a tank, but I
Right.
guess we were wrong.
What was the rationale behind the Soraka Aphelios?
Rocca is just a good pick into Lulu, I think. And Aphelios I'm really comfortable on. It's a champion that got me D1 last season.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good in a front to back composition as well,
Mhm.
where we wanted to play front to back. So, yeah, we were just betting on that for the game plan, really.
Matt, are you surprised that you got the Lee Sin after yesterday's pop-off performance?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, but I'll take it whenever they give me the chance.
Right on, right on.
Any opportunity to play my favorite champion.
All right, I think I'm good for questions, unless who you got some?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys very much. Good luck.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. I moved myself.
I was a little slow there to move
Yeah.
them, so appropriate response.
It's
Without
Matt there,
without further ado, those guys are always wild. And without further ado, we will be speaking to you with your victors of the game, GME.
Yo.
All
Oh,
right,
shit.
we're speaking with GME. I think there's two, stories here in this game. I think the first one, of course, that everyone is thinking about is why the Sunfire, Jay? Why the tank Akali?
Wait, we gotta do our chant.
Oh, you have one too?
No.
That-
Just about to say.
No, so Tank Akali, it's not really like full on tank, it's more of a bruisery kind of, but she moves that around a lot due to her passive E and like R and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And Chem Tank is actually pretty strong. So it gives her better durability and ability to sort of ping pong, aggro ping pong, and but Akali also doesn't really need that much item to kill people. So you can still build Chem Tank on her and still do a lot of damage
Now,
and still be tanky.
now, is this something that you kind of picked up when you were in Korea? Is this something that you were recently thinking about trying out?
Yeah, it's a secret Korean tech I saw on YouTube on the plane ride back home. So I was just like, all right, I'll try that out.
Oh,
oh my.
Yeah, first time in our game.
Yeah, we did some research in the middle of that game and we were able to find absolutely nobody.
yes.
Yeah,
I don't know what YouTube video you were watching.
Person.
I don't know what Korean YouTube video you were watching, but we found like no one playing Sunfire Calling. We thought
You're
you
the first in the country to play this build, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you
It's
secretly
not
a
that
YouTuber?
common, but it
I
has
don't
a good win rate. So
Out of like what, 3 games?
All three were you, bro.
Yeah.
out of 200 games, it has a 60% win rate. So
Wow.
it's not too bad.
So you're just giving this up for free though. You do realize that now it's gonna kind of be banned out from you guys. Are you okay with that being banned out? Do you have a lot more champions in your repertoire that
okay.
you're willing to kind
Yeah,
of
the
throw?
Champion Ocean.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
feeling that Jay
Yeah,
has
you can't-
seen more YouTube videos on the plane ride back.
Can't ban
Yeah,
this guy out. Come
There's
on.
a lot of picks I want to try out. So if they ban it, sure, I'll just move on to the next one.
Someone Googled it and they said there's only 5 views on the video for Sunfire Collie.
Oh my goodness, how deep were you looking?
I think 3 of them were Jay's refreshes because his internet was a little spotty. I'm not quite sure. All right, well, I'm in second story at the game. Bryce subbing in for Stash as their emergency sub. You finally did it 1 season later, and you finally get your first win in the KDL. It's been a while. Was it very weird coming into this game, especially with people who, created synergy, and now you're kind of the odd man out, or did you feel kind of, pressured to play well, and that's exactly why you played well?
I mean, I know I played well with because I've played with these guys a lot before, like JT and Jay before, so I'm pretty comfortable with them.
Mm-hmm. So that's where that confidence comes from.
Yeah,
Is that why you were just constantly looking at Matt in the jungle as well?
yeah, of course.
What was the objective there?
Just to give him a little kiss.
Fair enough, fair enough. Bidoof, are you surprised that they gave you the victor with first strike?
Not really. I haven't really played Victor that often, but it's like riding a bike. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So this is kind of second nature to you to play these carry champions.
I think just certain like age characters that I've like played a lot.
Right.
Just like I can just pick them up and play to a pretty high level. I think.
Fair enough, fair enough. JT, next question coming to you. I made the analogy earlier that GME is like the golden state of the KDL, meaning that, Clay was gone, Clay is back, and you kind of adopted that second in command. And does the dynamic of GME now drastically change now that Jay is back? Or is it just kind of, you have 3 strong lanes now, and now anyone can carry rather than, you guys kind of worry towards playing a certain way, one way or another?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I'd probably be like Steve Kerr. I was forced
But he's not even playing.
carry.
He's a coach.
I know. I'm just a coach now. I'm just chilling back, just sitting back, relax, get carried.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then final question, Naya. Naya, a lot of people have criticized you, and unrightfully so in my opinion, but they have criticized you nonetheless and said you can
He's
only
Draymond
play
Green.
Ivern. And say you can only who's Bry then? Who's Bry? If Naya is
Gary Payton in the
Draymond,
second.
Gary Payton.
Gary Payton in the second. He's just a side
Sunday
character.
contract.
He's just a side character. But Naya, nonetheless, a lot of people have been saying you can only play Ivern. You bust out the Zins out this game. Is there more from you other than the Ivern?
Maybe. We'll just find out and see.
Oh, very mysterious. Very mysterious. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Jay, I don't know if you can clarify this. Is it true that you hit Masters in Korea? Because there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people have been talking. What was the rank that you got to at the end of season 11 in Korea?
Oh, bro, guys, I'm Iron 2.
Actually, he was challenger.
Oh,
You're
bro.
Iron 2, huh?
The what is it? The PC bunks, they closed down at like 9 p.m. due to Corona, and so I didn't have any more time to game.
Oh,
So,
shoot. So you were just watching Akali Sunfire videos.
Yeah, I was just watching all these videos and studying League of Legends,
All right, fair enough. All right, good luck, guys, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, my mouse is acting up. Oh my god, my mouse is absolutely having a stroke. There we go. Oh my god, that was so awkward. Thanks, guys. And then they're just staying around for 20 seconds. All right, well, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the KDL. Apologies for such a late stream. We should be on track with our normal schedule starting tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the start of week 2 in the KDL. Remember, there are about 4 weeks of regular play-ins, and then after those 4 weeks conclude, top 6 do progress. If you are interested in seeing more of our teams, following our schedule, learning about players, learning about the structure, learning about the system, please do join that Discord. Our Discord link is down below in our Twitch. Aside from that, I want to just wish everyone a good night and have a safe rest of your week for however long Sunday lasts for you. And like always, thank you Hu for joining the cast.
Of course.
All right. Well, take care, everyone. We'll see you guys next week for week 2 in KDL. Thank you. Peace.